Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of the Looks Like On podcast. In this episode, we talked to Sonia. And Sonia, I've known her since like pretty much freshman year of high school. But yeah, now she's doing Reiki, and I've been really interested in just what is Reiki. And yeah, I've been able to talk to her about it. And my friend Leo here in Saigon, he's also doing Reiki, and he's also doing men's gathering workshops, which is amazing, and energy work and breath work. So like, I'm really curious, what is this thing? What is Reiki?
All right, sweet. I think we should tell everybody first how we know each other.
Okay, first. Okay, you can go first.
Okay, I mean, I think I was like 15. I think, were you like in middle school?
I don't remember that. I thought it was more high school. I guess, yeah, 15, 16. Yeah.
Because I
So,
was a freshman and I was dating Patricia.
yes, it's funny because
Remember?
I was just like meditating and that's kind of popped up.
Cool. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I think you're older than me too. Yeah. But I,
yeah,
I
maybe
remember more high school.
you went to Fairfax, right?
Yes.
And I went to Centerville. I went to Centerville High School.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought you went to Fairfax.
Mm-mm.
That's so weird because you were always there.
My dad had a restaurant in Fairfax for a few years.
Yes, and we went there to eat.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, it was good.
yeah. Cool. Wow. And we haven't really chilled since like probably high school, right?
It's been a long time. I see
It's
that
been a
you're
long
living
time.
in Vietnam, so that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And actually, I met some random guy from Centerville here.
Wow, what a small world. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because I even asked him, like, did you go to Westfield? And he's like, no, he went to Centerville High School.
Wow, that's nice. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting. I love that.
Wait, so then at what point in your life did you get into Reiki? Or is there a story
Um,
behind that too?
there is a little bit of a story behind it. I more got into Reiki because of my clients. They were the ones when I first started in 2020 or 2021 as a esthetician. I worked in my house and started seeing clients, and little by little, they were asking, like, that was really nice, it was so relaxing. Do you do Reiki? And I'm like, I don't know what that is. So no, I don't. Then like 2 years passed, like every single time, like very sporadically too, like over the year, 2, 3 years, they've been asking me and asking me. And then it came to a point that one of my good friends actually from college, I met her at Nova, and she when she became a master Reiki practitioner, and she explained to me a little bit more what it was, and she did it more personal. So that kind of like related to me as well. So which was more healing and self-healing. And I started poking the bear and seeing more information. I thought it was pretty cool. So then I and then clients kept asking me. So then I honestly just jumped ahead and did the classes, the courses without even getting a session for myself or reading too much into
Mm,
it. I'm like, let me just learn it. My clients are asking for it. I thought it was pretty cool when my friend explained it to me. So let me see. And when I first walked in, it was pretty like, obviously you have to be really open-minded. It's very spiritual. And it's not like religious spiritual. It's just really, and you can be in a religion, doesn't matter, but what's it called? You just have to really believe about like the good and the bad energy being out of balance, not being yourself, but more energy wise, more it's hard to explain, but it's just more energetically, because your energies can flow through the day, through
mm,
events, can even attract people's feelings. Also read somewhere that just because there's like another person can be like sitting or standing across the room or a different room, but their energy or their field of energy can be so wide and open that if they're scared and stressed, like you can actually even smell it or even sense it in that aspect, that you can also feel scared or nervous or whatever it is. You're attracting that person's energy and it's not even yourself. And then you get confused. So it's like a
Mm,
whole different phase afterwards. But yeah, so I went normally to for my childhood, not trauma, but just, I guess you can call it trauma, just for me to try to understand my parents, just because of how I felt like I never grew up with my parents. So I felt that I was always alone or always like out of balance through my whole years. So as an adult having kids now, that was like I never had a very good relationship with my parents or my mom, which is the one closer to me. And obviously, having kids, I always seen her. I've always have like some sort of like to keep them together in a family, but I always had like anger inside, or like whatever, mostly anger, I guess. So when I went through the session, through the first class, that was very interesting, very eye opening. How at the end is you have to conserve your energy and not let people really get to you, and just try to really acknowledge those type of angers or energies as like you hide deep down inside. Like I can be, yeah, I don't know, I sometimes I get out of balance, but what's it called, like when I think when I'm with my mom, sometimes I will be like really happy and things like that, but then like when I'm with myself, I'm just like, why am I even like, why do I try, like then I kind of like take out feelings from inside that I just take, like put them deep down to not remember or to not get hurt or to not like feel upset. So those are part of energies that you can also use Reiki to heal. But unfortunately, in order when you want to do that, you have to really be open to go back to that aspect of being hurt, of being not just mentally or whatever, but just like energetically. Like you go through a phase of taking that out and taking that out in order to actually be free from being the way you felt like that time or the way you feel like recently. So it is always, I feel like it's always like a journey regardless. And there's always like little traumas that you have to like go through, because you can't always just be completely balanced the whole life. I mean, if you are amazing, great for you.
mm,
But there are times that people, like there's always stages and phases of life that gives you like the little trauma that you have to kind of like get out of yourself out of it, and then try to give yourself like that sympathy, and actually conserve your energy and not let people really get to you. But yeah, and then I went into the second level. There's like three levels. The second level of most distance Reiki, that you can do Reiki literally. I'll be sitting here and then do Reiki for clients or people who in a different country or different room or things like that. So that I honestly thought that was amazing. I when she was explaining it, I thought it was like BS. But again, you have to be really open-minded. And I think at the end it's all about feeling for others and caring, and really have intention, a lot of intention.
mm,
What's it called? So yeah, so it's just having a lot of intention behind that person that you're trying to help out. And honestly, a Reiki session can just be, or Reiki can just to feel yourself more energetically, just more clarity into your mind, or just more at peace, at ease. Or again, if you have trauma that you can't get yourself out of it right now, or like you keep thinking of your childhood, you keep thinking about that person that hurt you. Um, what's it called? It can go deeper down in that. And it's also, if you let it, I think
mm,
I've had sessions before that I will see it or I will feel it, but they're not ready to let go. And that's something that I can help with, like guiding them. But if they're not ready, there's no way that a
mm,
person can really let go of that trauma or heal themselves.
mm. I wonder when somebody becomes ready for that.
I think personally for me is like I don't know. I guess like you hit ground zero, or not even ground zero. It's like when you start realizing why you're always like upset. Why are you so angry? Why am I always so sad and depressed? And it's
Mm,
not just like maybe, well, that's mostly self, like how that's how I speak to myself. Like I'm always like, I never used to be like that. Or like this was not me 2 months ago. What has happened to for me to really feel the way I'm feeling? Like I think back of like, why am I feeling so angry out of life right now? If it's this or that. And then, I mean, your own body, I guess, and your own mind will tell you. That's what I believe, that yeah, you eventually will answer your own questions. At the end, I've also learned everyone is a little psychic, everyone is a little witchy, like says follow your gut.
mm,
That's one thing that I always feel a lot in people when I do Reiki sessions, that I can feel like their energy when they're really like scared, or their heart, it can be very heavy. And that means like they're either very heartbroken or they're missing somebody they really, really love. Or when they have a lot of pressure in their belly, it's because maybe you're don't know what to choose in life. Maybe you're in a life that you're like trying to, oh, this is a good opportunity, but this is good. Or but I don't know, like you're unsure of yourself. So there's always people like saying like it's your gut feeling. And if you really have like this confusion of where to go, what to do, it's like a buildup of pressure in your stomach.
mm,
Or like same thing with like the butterfly sessions, you feel very happy and you just don't know how to really express it. So I always relate it to that. So it comes to a point, it can also be a feeling. So that's mostly when you tell yourself that you're ready. Like, why am I always having a crunch in my stomach? But yeah, another thing that really got into more Reiki is that when my 7-week baby, I accidentally burned her feet to second degree. That was very traumatic for me, like more traumatic. And I was already in the sessions of going to Reiki. And I felt a lot of guilt, because obviously it was my fault. It was happening within my hands. I was carrying her, boiling water fell on her feet. It
mm,
was horrible and heartbreaking. I was losing my hair. I was very stressed. I couldn't sleep. And I felt like a big ball of just pressure in my stomach, like every single all day for weeks and weeks and weeks. And honestly, Reiki has helped me to let go, because I had to tell myself that it is my fault, but it happens. I didn't do it on purpose. Like you have to really, again, sympathy for yourself. You have to understand yourself and be like, I don't know. And it's all mental too. You have to try and clear your mind, because there's always a lot of thoughts that can go through your mind too, that also
mm,
can get to other parts of your body that does not energetically flow nicely how it needs to flow. So
mm,
that was another big one that has helped me with Reiki a lot, really. So yeah, mostly more for clients, have been trying to seek in it, and then my own personal um, life.
It's like a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and my clients like it, so that's really good.
Dang, like how do you deal with like is there like a negative dialogue going on? Like, oh, it's all your fault. I can't believe you did that. Like, how do you deal with that internal voice?
I always say it depends on how you are as a person. So everybody grew up differently. I'm very harsh on myself. So I
Mm,
always can relate it to that. And and I can speak to myself very harshly, but I get motivated. Another person can speak to themselves like that, but they get more sad or depressed, or they actually feel the way they're thinking about themselves. So, um, again, honestly, you have to talk to somebody or journal. I like to always journal. I used to journal so much before when I was younger. Obviously, I right now barely have time. But as an adult, when I started journaling again, which is why also with Reiki, you like let go of all what's ever in your mind. And I always say journal with handwriting. Typing, fine, it works to take everything out of your mind, but it's not the same as handwriting. Because I feel like when you write it down, it's more intentional. There's more truth behind it, and you actually see it. And then I always say also reread what you write. All of a sudden, it doesn't have to be the same time. And just like go back to and read it. And then you're like, oh, fuck, did I really feel like that? Like, hopefully that's
Mm,
what you think of it. But, or it makes you think, why am I feeling like this? And then it makes you aware of like, why, yeah, like, why are you feeling? And maybe you want to fish out more of those emotions to not feel like that because it's really probably not true. And if it is true, then what can you do to really help yourself to really get out of that mentality? Um,
mm,
but again, it also goes back to, are you ready? Are you ready to see the true colors of what your mind is really speaking out? And are you ready to actually be open-minded to accept things?
mm.
Yeah, if the person is not ready mentally and emotionally, there's no way I think that there is a healing phase unless they
Mm,
really want it. You have to really want it. Just like everything in life, if you want to have a job that you want, you have to work for it. It's
yeah.
not you can't just have it out of the blue. I wish.
Mm. How do you feel when you like when you have people close to you, like friends or family, that you know they should do some kind of healing, but they're not doing it? And you want to help, but they don't let themselves be helped. Like, how do we accept that? I feel it's so hard.
I have to accept it. And that has happened as well with my mom through quarantine. Like probably my mom will not be happy that I said all this, but it's like, whatever. Um, I feel like it would really stuck to her, like being stuck inside the house. She was always surrounded with people. She was like, I guess, not herself. And I was into Reiki at that time a little bit, but I always kept telling her, like, you just have to like just do this and do that. Try to like journal, go exercise, just this, go some walking, like things that can help her, I guess, remove things out of their mind. And that also helps energetically, emotionally to get better. But she didn't like there was no will. You can't make somebody, you can tell them. I trust me, I wanted to be like, sit down and be here and do this. Like I was getting mad myself because I'm like, I'm giving you all those tips, but you're not trying. But at the end, to a point that I was getting mad, that I was like, so why am I getting mad? There's no point for me to do that. So if somebody doesn't want to be helped, I'm not going to waste my energy and just because they're not ready. And that's fine. You can still, that's still okay. But you can also communicate. Well, I'm that person, communicate with them that like, I'm not going to be helping you if you're not ready. Like, don't, whenever you're ready, come and help. Like let me know. So I guess there's people, it's very different people, but that's like how I personally am. Um, but I will always like for clients, obviously, it's different just because I don't know, so there's more sympathy, I guess, within it. I have a little more patience, but I never got to that point that I get they have to help. It's like they seek when they're ready. But when it
Hmm.
comes to family or friends, I feel like there has to be more patience, especially for my talking right now. I can see that there has to be more patience, but also you have to have more of like, okay, when is it ready to stop? Because or else you're just giving too much of yourself to them when they're not ready and they don't want it. And
Mm,
then you hurt yourself. And then yeah,
true.
then you're just as like then you have to help yourself whenever they're ready to get help. And that doesn't work like that.
Mm, true. Oh, you mentioned Reiki and spirituality go together. Right? So I was wondering, like, did you get into spirituality after or before you found Reiki?
I mean, I was always like interested in like spirits and everything like that. So it's not like that they're both together, honestly, spirituality or just believing in all that stuff. I was always like feeling with like intuition and people's energy. I just didn't know that to label them, or I didn't know it was like other people believed in it as well. Um, or I thought it was just like me or whatever it is. So it was always like that type of vibe and mentality through my whole year, literally to my whole year since I was like probably 9 or 10. So like that's how I mostly had to train myself mentally. And even growing up, having my kid at 21, I always had to have like that mindset of like, it's possible. Like, I'm not gonna go down. Like, I feel like that phase of my life when I was having a kid at a very young age, I had to really like settle myself mentally to not dig myself down the floor. I feel like that I had to like be like, no, things are gonna work out, stop being stressed. Or like if somebody, like if I was really stressed out, I'm a person that I can stop thinking. I don't want to think. um, which my husband's completely opposite. He's like, you're not thinking what you're saying. I was like, I don't want to think. I prefer just to say it out loud and let it be. Like, I don't want to waste my energy to think and double think and think whatever it is. I'm like, let me just do it. Obviously now I'm a little different. I double think a lot because obviously I'm older, you experience so much more. I have a second kid. So I always like, obviously as a mom, you get more scared, or as you get older, you're like, you're not as I guess free will to go jump into things when you're younger. But
Mm,
spiritually and feeling the way I feel and like believing in energy and people's auras is something that is new on labeling wise, but I feel like I've always been a little bit spiritual through my whole life.
mm.
It just
Cool.
increased a little bit. Yeah.
It's like your next phase or something.
Yeah. I mean, little by little, my husband doesn't like it how I talk about it sometimes because I do like little as well as I got into sessions, I could sense things that were not in front of me, such as I had clients that their dad appeared right there next to me, or like sitting
Whoa.
and watching us, or like somebody touched my hand as I was treating them, and um, what's it called? And they were happy for them. And it took me a while to really say those things because I was like, maybe I'm crazy, or I'm like, I don't know if this is true. But certain clients I had to slowly like try to, I didn't know what to say to them. I'm like, well, your dad was really happy that you came. Or like that, I can see him here. And then she was like, yeah, I felt him here too. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a sureness that I could, that actually it was true, that it was not just me, or they're good energies that calls everything together. Um, Another event was that, and this person I didn't know at all, so it was harder for me to say something. I was like, yeah, I was like, somebody passed away, because I just felt a hand, and she was really happy for you that you're doing this to yourself. And we started just crying and saying that, yeah, my mom passed away, and this is something that I really would have talked to her about. So she was just going through a whole like life cycle, like different phases of the struggles in her life recent that time, that that's something that her mom would have been there for her to talk to about and help her along the way. So she really went into tears after that. So yeah, it's very interesting. And sometimes it's hard for me to communicate that, because sometimes I feel like it's just me. Again, a lot of things in your mind. But also as a Reiki practitioner, you have to try your best to clear your mind, because you have to have all the good intentions, and um, and just a good field, clear field to really join in. It's like literally it's like a hose, a water hose. We're just giving all the good energy to align your auras, to align your chakras, to really just make it all one full encapsulated like energy cycle there. If that
Mm,
makes sense. Yeah.
that's sick. Something that you said, you mentioned that you felt like someone's dad come through and communicate, right?
Not communicate. He was just there. He just, and I all of a sudden just felt the dad was just sitting on our chair, on the chair that I had in my room. And he was like, really happy. Like I could see like he was just like sitting there chilling, and then I was explaining to her, I was like, yeah, he was just like here, like there saying like, what are you doing? But I'm happy you're here. And then she was like, yeah, he probably wouldn't believe in this stuff, but I sensed him too. So like it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, like I mentioned this because the our last podcast guest, he was someone who had a near death experience. So
Oh,
he experienced like significant brain damage to the point where he was just passed out. And according to him, and he's a Harvard neurosurgeon, right? According to him, the part of his brain that would process hallucinations was shut off. So he
oh
wasn't
wow.
hallucinating. But he was experiencing something really deep somewhere else. Like he
Oh,
said, it was
I honestly
really
believe
vivid.
that.
Me too.
I believe in that. I don't know if you ever had a dream, but I had a dream, well, a dream or a feeling when I was younger that I saw myself sleep. Like I was like my soul was out of my body
Hmm.
when I was sleeping and I was younger. That scared the shit out of me. But like it was so true and vivid that I was like, and I couldn't get up. Like I could not wake up. It was like I was just laying here, my soul was here, like literally looking, and I could not wake up because I was like, this is so creepy. But
Hmm.
I do believe in that sometimes like I've had even Reiki energy sessions for myself that my aura, my spirit was completely outside of my body. That's
Whoa.
like when you're really like you're a little more lost or like or something like that, that you just um yes, it's like you're trying to find yourself, or you're really like in trauma that you just don't know where you're placed in life mentally and spiritually. Um, but yeah, it happens, I think. So like I believe in those things. It's very interesting. I haven't had those dreams though, which is good.
The thing is, like, I got into this like rabbit hole of researching near death experiences ever since I met that guy. And
Really?
there's similarities in all the dreams. The first similarity is that they're floating above their body, watching their body. That's the first thing, right? And then they go to some. It almost sounds like a trip, like a mushroom trip or something. But like they go to some other place, and they usually meet an entity over there, and the entity always gives them the same message, and it's you are loved.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, it sucks. It's unfortunate. Well, their near death experience, like, is that like an actual death experience, or is just like literally just a saying of that situation that your aura is outside of your body?
It's like their heart has physically stopped, or their brain
Okay.
is just like
So
too
literally,
damaged.
like,
Yeah,
okay,
let me
so
turn on the
literally.
lights. It's getting really dark here. Hold on. One
It's
second.
okay. Okay, I understand that part. It's interesting. But how you said about the entities going to a different entity and everything like that. I've also had a session myself, again, more for personal trauma, that I had entities attached to me. And I mean, I believe in that. Like, um, more much not much entities, but I believed in energies being attached to me.
Mhm.
Because a lot of Reiki too, if you don't know how to properly cleanse yourself, you can also attract and keep those people's energies. And for all you know, the way you feel right now might not be really you. It could be your friend's energy, how they felt upset or depressed or anxious or whatever. So you're taking that home with you. And then maybe you find out something that same time, and then you get double the energy, double anxious or whatever it is. So it's also, that's why I was like always try to like know yourself a little bit. But that part of the entity that he mentioned was that yeah, that they were attached to me. So I mostly felt like people's energies were just really like on me at that time. And I actually
Mhm.
had that session after a couple of them initially when I was doing some Reiki sessions a lot. more often than I was used to. And I guess I wasn't properly releasing myself because after those sessions, like I had crying sessions, really intense that um, I ended up taking that home with me. And then I was like really depressed. I was lost. I was this, I was that. Like, I was like, well, goodness, what is going on with me? Like, my whole life is great. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I
Mm,
also learned to like, obviously meditation that will help a lot. And then, what's it called? Bath salts are amazing too. They really
cool.
relax the whole body.
Well, didn't know that. That's awesome. Let me see what time it is right now. Oh yeah, I know we still have some time. I think like 15 more minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Damn, I'm trying to see what more spontaneous questions come up. I think I found out about Reiki through a near-death experience video because somebody who actually went through the near-death experience and he survived, eventually this person got into Reiki because
Interesting.
that's how I heard about Reiki because before that I mean I saw the label Reiki, but I just didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. What did he say? Like, did he do like, how did it help him? Or what was he trying to find out? Or,
Uh, I guess he's trying to help people feel the way he felt on the other side, which was unconditionally loved.
okay. That's after his like I'm just wondering how he even got to that point of the then afterwards, right after his death experience, I'm guessing.
Yeah, afterwards, I don't know how he got there, but that was just what sparked my interest. Like, wait a second, what is that? And do you believe in synchronicity?
Yes, that's like when you're both like together, like feeling the same or no.
It's kind of like when some things happen that they might seem like a coincidence, but then your gut
Oh,
is saying like, I don't think this is a coincidence.
oh well, yeah. Yeah, it's mostly like your gut feeling. Just trust your instincts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a familiar.
So I feel something like this happened to me last night. Someone I haven't seen for like 2, 3 years contacted me to talk about some workshop or whatever. So like I went to go meet him and I told him like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna interview this Reiki master pretty soon. And then he says, wait, I do Reiki. And I
Oh,
was like, dude, I didn't even know we were gonna talk about that.
that's nice. Well, you
Yeah,
guys meet
this
in person or no?
in person, this happened last night.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like I feel like things are happening and I'm just enjoying this journey. It's so crazy, but awesome.
You should try a session. Have you ever tried a session?
I've never tried before. But I'm so
Okay.
curious now.
I think you should. I think everybody should try um a session. I mean, you can tell your friend to do it. I think always in person is always best. Um, but yeah, it's interesting even for people who don't believe in it or who just are just curious is also good. Like my husband, he does not believe in it at all. If he doesn't see it, touch, or feel it with his hands, he does not believe in it. But I remember I tried it on him. The next day, he was like, can you do the thing to me? Like, it felt really good. I just felt more relaxed. I was like, it worked.
Mm. I
So
wonder,
even to,
like people that don't believe in Reiki, do they still believe in like vibes, like people's vibes that are sitting next to them or something? I don't know.
it can probably. I think they do. I mean, I feel like we all do. Because if I feel like we all like experienced it. I mean, he does. He believes sometimes like the bad vibes and things like that. But those are people. He's also a person that is like he closes himself very well, so he is not going to get affected by the person that gives him bad vibes.
Ah,
So I feel like there's different type of people. Like for me, unfortunately, well, I am trying my best to always like cover myself, but I do feel for people. Not saying that he doesn't, but I feel for people. So if they have a bad vibe, it's like I attract very easily. And I just like, I'm like wondering, like, I'm like curious, like, why are you having a bad day? I was like, like, don't have a bad day. It's okay. Like, things like that. Unlike him, he'd be like, oh, he's such a bad vibe. He'll like blow it off very fast. So
mm,
it's not like he takes it home with him or he like it dwells over him. He just stops talking to that person and that's it. For me, it's like I keep thinking about them. I'm like, "Oh, why? Why is he feeling like he shouldn't feel like that?" Or like I can see the sadness in his face. I'm like, what happened? Like I want to help them out. But obviously
Mm,
that's not possible. You can't help everybody. And you can't
mm.
just go to a stranger and be like, hey, what's going on?
Just like when you see somebody in pain and you know how to decrease their pain, it's like you want to help, right? It makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, there's always have to be like, and some people are really good, I guess, and like doing in their field or whatever, and just like not get too involved. But sometimes it's
Mm.
hard
What do you think is a good way for someone to find the right Reiki master for them, like to treat them?
to write. Like,
No,
what do you mean?
I mean like to receive like Reiki. Do you call it treatment? Is it Reiki treatment or how do you call it?
Full sessions.
Ah, yeah.
I call it treatments because I do some Reiki on my clients while I do their treatments. So
Mhm.
sometimes I like give them mini sessions. Um, and you said, what is it like?
Or I mean, like, how does somebody find the right person to do Reiki sessions on them?
Well, I mean, that's a little hard question for me. It's like finding the right doctor or finding the right professional for whatever you're looking for help with, I think. Obviously, looking at their credentials, maybe you can talk to them and ask like a small consultation, be like, hey, how does this work? If they answer all your questions. Again, it's also if you feel the good vibe from them just by talking on the phone. Um, or their platform, website, whatever it is, it's giving out like um if they're suitable for that. I've had clients, well, only like one that didn't feel much. Like there are people who don't feel the session. They don't feel the good energy. They don't feel that. And I feel like those are people who are not ready or they're not open minded towards that. So there are times that I tell my clients, like, you might not feel anything. You might feel like nothing happened. So I'm like, you do just have to try your best to be open minded and just clear yourself out and go to your happy place, basically.
Mm,
So I feel it's just like finding a doctor if they're actually answer all your questions, if they how they can help you, or when exactly. Another question would be like, are you doing it for just curiosity, or are you doing actually a little bit more an energetic cleansing and just trying to have a good like balance, or are you trying to actually do a trauma healing? So
mm,
first, I guess it goes to like what you're trying to really look for.
true. Awesome, yo. Any final thoughts for people out here who are hearing about Reiki for the first time?
Not much, but what's it called? Definitely test it out. It's really nice. Even it helps with just a lot of stress too. Some people can have, I see that you also help people with like to clear their mind and
Mm,
to just declutter. And we all need that. With nowadays, like there's so many things in their mind. And I feel like once yeah, if you don't know how to, I guess, center yourself, it also leads to other problems health wise.
yeah,
I'm a firm believer of that.
me too.
Um, so I also put that a lot into skin, which is what I do. So it's a lot of just having so much stuff into your life or your mind that it's good to just declutter, empty, even for just that one day, because that one day will definitely help. And so
Mhm.
Reiki definitely is beneficial for everyone. And it helps a lot with insomnia as well. And it's also amazing for kids.
Whoa, cool.
And kids need it more. I feel like they nowadays a lot of kids need it more. There's so many things going on in the world, and they see a lot of stuff online. And for kids, honestly, it can be 5 minutes, and they are just more at ease and calm. And I tested that amount of my kids.
Whoa.
Yeah, my son, my 10-year-old son actually asks for it from time to time and he enjoys it. So, and I mean, surprised that he actually asked for it for a kid to ask like Reiki sessions.
Dang, so he's really felt the, yeah, like how good it feels to release that stuff.
I feel like, yeah, I normally do it for him at nighttime. just because he's more like relaxed. For an adult, I've always, when I start sessions for adults, I try to have them like do a very small breathing exercise to help them concentrate on their breathing, which when you concentrate on your breathing, you also don't think, because I tell them what to do. And then that will also help their parasympathetic system to calm it all down. And then we go deep into the energy so they get to feel a little bit more. For kids, with my kids, I do it at nighttime again just because they're more relaxed. They know this time to go to sleep, and I make them close their eyes. And I think he likes it because the next day he just feels more relaxed, better at ease. Maybe there's not much in his head. And I love it because I can see when I do their sessions, I can see my son's body twitch. I can see his big inhales and big exhales through the session. So for me, that's indication that his body is really absorbing the energy that I'm intentionally giving to him to really help him release whatever he is saying, like a muscle tension or a mental tension. He's actually taking a lot of deep breath, a lot of oxygen, which is we need oxygen into our body. What's it called? And same thing with adults. Like it's interesting, adults need it more too. Just like when I see them, I see their body twitch. I see their big inhale or exhale too. Some of them end up crying while they're there. So we all need it. I think just like the breathing exercises is always amazing because yeah, that helps a lot to everything flow nicely.
Hmm. Dang, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much, Sonia. That was freaking awesome.
No, thank you. I hope I helped with answering your questions.
I think we should do another episode after I have my first Reiki session.
Yeah, that'll be nice. You should do it in person, or we can do it also to on distance. You should try both.
Yeah. I wonder
Compare
if,
them.
is there a lot of talking going on during the Reiki session, or is it mostly silence?
For honestly, I've done a session with no talking, and I've done a session with talking
Mm,
on both online and in person. So it all depends. Depends on your practitioner. I'm not as comfortable because I like for you guys to completely relax, but I've also had practitioners that will speak to me during the sessions, and that's more healing, I feel, because they will be like, "Oh, I feel this, and how did you feel?" And then that brings memories to that person that's laying down, and be like, "Yeah, I feel like this here because what's it called? I didn't have my parents, or because what's it called? I feel like I don't trust myself with this position." So like it's like you're saying and speaking out loud your truth. So what you really feel, why you have that feeling inside your body. Or like when I don't speak, they just kind of like I mostly speak at the end after they're already
mm,
kind of relaxed and further in. So there's different sessions for me. So it depends on what the client is looking for. Healing session, just a lot more speaking, more relaxing, or more like testing it out, then I normally wait until the end. And for distance, there's same concept. I mostly have clients like half like lay down nicely, somewhere where there's quiet, and put an eye pillow on if they can, or just close their eyes. I still walk them through a little bit of a breath work. But I've also had that I've done Reiki distantly while they were working, so they can just do whatever they need to do. Like they're just living their normal life. I'm just saying, like, I'm giving you I'm sending you Reiki around 2 or 3 p.m.
mm,
and they can do whatever they want. They don't have to stop to do what they're doing in order to have that session. But I do know that I do think they should be aware that they are receiving it in order for it to be working.
mm.
Just so you can also, I guess, mentally be there and kind of communicate in some way. But yeah, so there's different ways that it can be sent.
Okay, so you can't like go into like a busy like metro train and just like raking everybody around you. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some people like Reiki practitioners that do like Reiki in a whole room. I don't know how they do it. I was asked before to try. I don't see myself doing that. Does that feel like that's for me too much, and I don't know how to do that. I think for that you need somebody, I guess, for the person to really benefit of that little mini Reiki session. It will be fair enough to actually do it the right way. But I've had clients that come to me, they're like, yeah, I tested a mini Reiki session when I was doing a yoga class. So for all you know, I mean, it can happen. I will not be that person.
Dang, I'm really excited to see where this new adventure will take me. But thanks
Yeah,
so much, Sonia. We'll see you
of
again next time.
course. Yay. Have a good day or
Bye.
night.
Take care, man.
No.
I guess
Bye.
night. See ya.